And the little sticker says we are live. Hello, Sam. Hello, Mindbender.
Hey guys.
Hey guys, before I get started, I want to go ahead and introduce you to Mindbender, American Mindbender. He's a good friend of mine. He's got a lot of good information and he's on top of the topics. We have Sam in here tonight. She doesn't want to show her face. And Charity's supposed to be here, but she's having internet problems, so hopefully she'll pop in. So Patricia Ann and Linda Horner and Linda Carter and 12B Georgia, thank you guys for being here. It's a Friday night, and a lot of times we don't get a lot of people in here on Friday night. But like I always say, those of you that are in here, Scarecrow, how you doing, brother? I'm fixing to give you a shout out in just a minute. But yeah, welcome. You are the guys that are here all the time, and you're my people, and and I want to be here for you. So that's what it's all about. And I don't care if I've got 25 or if I've got 225, as long as my base is in here and I have those people who like me and trust me, and I do the same with you. It's almost like a family. But I want to welcome everybody, whoever comes in, whoever sees this on the replay. I ask you to view the content. If you like it, hit the like button. If you don't, hit the unlike button. But hit the button and comment. Share if you want to. Hit the bell icon so you'll know when I'm going live. My PayPal will be somewhere in the chat if my mods put it in there. But either way, please support this channel if you enjoy, what I do here, and help me keep doing this. But thanks to Scarecrow, thank you for your kind PayPal donation, brother. I appreciate that PayPal donation. I really appreciate it. And Scarecrow, I want to say thanks again, because I get very few donations, and brother, I do like the ones I get. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and hit this thing off right quick, and then we'll let Sam and Mindbender get in here. But I want to talk about something that they're doing in San Francisco. And man, I tell you what, when I read this, it just made my blood boil. Nobody ever gave me a dang thing. And besides that, I probably wouldn't have took it if they offered it. My daddy taught me not to take handouts. But in San Francisco, they're providing hotel rooms and alcohol and drugs of their choice to the homeless people in San Francisco. The Department of Public Health defends spending over, get this, people, $60 million in San Francisco to house and ensure that all homeless people will be supplied with daily drugs of choice and booze of their choice. I have little sympathy for the homeless in this situation. These low-life scumbags are, that they're too lazy to work. They're either too drunk, they're too wasted to perform any societal work, or maybe they're just too sorry of a person to do anything except beg for handouts. And I have no sympathy for those kind of people. I don't care about the food or the shelter as long as they can get wasted. As long as they can get wasted that day, they're happy. Now and then, a low-life beggar and these drug addicts and these alcoholics can get wasted in luxury. In a paid-for hotel room with paid-for drugs and paid-for alcohol of your choice delivered to your door in that hotel room. And I'm going to tell you what, people, when it comes, I'm all for helping the alcoholics and the drug addicts, but you don't help them by giving them alcohol and drugs. If you can afford to do all that, you could afford to put them in some kind of rehab center or something, at least give them a place to sleep and give them a little bit of information maybe about God, So I'm sorry I got on that tangent right there, Mindbender, but
it's all right.
I get upset when you talk about low-life scumbag beggars, that are just too sorry to work. And here we are, hotel rooms, drugs of your choice and alcohol of your choice delivered to your door. Only in San Francisco, California.
I imagine it's not free though, Bobby. I'm sure they are.
How are they going to pay?
Well, they're probably paying by being some form of a guinea pig.
They might be.
I look at they're not getting something for free. There's obviously some form of a interest in housing folks of that nature and supply them with their needs to maintain them imprisoned upon their own
Well, they do the
devices.
same thing.
They're imprisoned under their own devices, like
Sure,
a
sure.
Hotel California or something.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But that's about right. But yeah, these people, I understand that there are some who are really down and out on their luck.
Mm-hmm.
They really are.
There's going to be more.
And I'll be honest, yes, there will be. But these are the true homeless. And that's a very small percentage of the total homeless population. I believe that we've most of the homeless choose to be homeless.
It's not it is a lifestyle, obviously.
Yeah, and what else, man? Sit on the street corner, beg, get your money, get high, eat your McDonald's hamburger, and find you a cardboard box and crawl in it.
Some can escape.
I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate here.
Go right ahead.
And so part of this, now I'm not going full advocate on it because it's about, let me explain. Whether you're an alcoholic or a drug addict, you need a certain amount of dope in order to not go into cardiac arrest or seizures. So
you're just talking DTs now.
DTs, right, all of that. So if they were really under a medical care to help wean them off or given the choice to go back on the street where they want, that's one thing. But in all sense of compassion, we still have to understand that these are physical addictions that need to be overseen appropriately so that people don't die from it.
Okay.
And so on that part, I'm saying I'm paying the advocate. I'm not saying I condone it, but I understand a portion of that decision.
Okay, I have to be the other devil's advocate. All right, if you're addicted to heroin, you can go and get methadone, which is synthetic heroin. That's all it is. You can go get methadone every morning. They'll give you one methadone pill, and that'll curb your needs or your desires or your whatever it is that you've got to have this heroin for. And believe me, I'm no virgin to this. I've had my bouts with alcohol and with drugs over the years, and I'll be honest with you. I can't help it that these people have drug problems. Now, if they want to help those people, like I said, let's put them into some kind of treatment center, some kind of learning apparatus set up so that they can wean off of these drugs, walk them down, have a doctor involved, reduce their amounts every day until they wean them off, give them counseling, put them in a treatment center for 30 days and let them hear a little bit about God and AA. Maybe they'll hear something that they like. But at the same time, we can't be putting them in hotel rooms and catering their drugs and alcohol to them every day. That is wrong, Sam. I'm sorry, but I do not believe that just because you're a drug addict, you should get a free hotel room and free drugs just because of this fake COVID-19 hoax. Well, I just don't. I just think it's wrong. It's wrong. That's like how are you going to cure an alcoholic? Well, heck, give him another beer, right? That's what they're doing. They're pacifying these people. I wouldn't want to leave either. I'd hope the COVID-19 virus lasts for 20 years. Hold on. And I know I'm sounding harsh. I know I am, Sam, and I don't mean to, but I have no sympathy. I have sympathy for the true.
I feel like there's something behind that, Bobby. For them to give in to their needs like that, there's got to be some other motive behind it. It's just our information, our fake news ways these days.
Well,
also,
they're going to get something out of it.
Obviously.
If nothing else.
And to me, the sad part is it's like a life is being, somebody's life is being dictated for somebody else's practice, which is going on in all different forms of our society now.
Yes, it is.
Even down to our food sources.
Mm-hmm.
Being GMO'd and everything else. That's just the same scenario. There's got to be some good that they're receiving out of it.
Yeah.
It's not free.
Well, I think the combination again, there's, you have to hit things with modifying it. I'm not saying that what they're doing is right, but then you're under Newsom. And so we know what Newsom's agenda is. And so
Votes.
I would, if there anything what I think it is, I watched this happen live feed a couple weeks back. Even in Texas, they were clearing the streets of all the street people. But
Sure.
what they were doing was on their wrist, they forced them to have to give them their information, have a band on their wrist, just like when you go into the hospital and you
Right.
have a ID band. Then they had another darker band around their upper bicep, which I couldn't tell which color it was, but it was dark. So what they did was they told them they would feed them, they would shelter them in this coliseum of some sort. And then, but they had to be out. They had to be in at 8 p.m. at night, and they could go back. They had to be pushed out by 8 a.m. With the California, this is different. And Bobby, I don't agree with aiding and abetting any illicit drugs. I don't agree, because you're right. There's methadone, and those methadone clinics, to my understanding, not in every area, but into a lot of segment of the population across the nation, are still available. So
Yes.
they could be getting the methadone. But the alcohol portion of it, they need to be under a medical care and weaned off. But because we're under a medical quote unquote quarantine, there's another whole set of laws that go into it. It's not about aiding and abetting the addiction. It's about what Mindbender says. There's underlying MO here. And I personally
It
think,
could be
and
for
I'm
votes.
watching from Colorado to Texas, from California to Connecticut,
Yeah.
I'm seeing if any of these quote unquote street people ever actually show back up on the street again, or is it a way to annihilate the unwanted?
It could be for votes also.
It very well.
There's something behind it.
That was my whole idea. They're going to take care of them, give them drugs, because there's a lot of them. Yeah, and they're going to get them to all register to vote while they're at it.
And in between, hey, they get to have a good time.
Yeah.
On our dollar.
As there you go.
Don't forget, they're also going to want to make sure that they get those shots, people. And we know what's in those shots.
Oh, of course.
Speaking of shots,
go ahead.
That's something else. Some folks are all for this vaccine. Vaccinations.
No.
There's you'd be surprised. There's
you're right. You're right.
That are like,
I'm just saying no. No.
Sure. I mean, I'm saying no also. And they don't understand that there's so many people in this country that if they try to force that on you, you're going to get a civil war.
Amen.
Period.
Yes.
That's just cause and effect. And those people who want these, vaccines, there's so many Americans. It's like they're just so relaxed about these vaccines, and they don't understand the cause and effect if that becomes a mandatory situation.
Yes.
You'll have a problem on your hands like you haven't seen.
Yes.
And that could be what is going to have to take place in this country, unfortunately.
And that's what it's looking like more and more every day.
There's so many people that are just ready for this vaccine.
Well, what's so foolish is that this supposed to be new branch of the flu. It has not had enough time to even to be sifted and sorted from all the other previous ones. So there is no way for them to sift and sort it. Even when they do, like the common cold, there is no per se cure. And Bobby, as you know, I did an article that brought people up to snuff of what is actually going to be in this supposed immunization. And it is anything but what they claim it to be. It's a bald-faced lie. And I, for one, do not want to listen to whether it's the President of the United States, Bill Gates, or some other political lackey. Trump didn't get his inoculation from it already. That's bullshit. Just call it what it is, people. Don't even start that, because I know he didn't, because you know what? There hasn't even been enough time to create one. Nothing legit. It's all smoke and mirrors. And in this new vaccine, there is a chemical called luciferase. And
Thank you.
luciferase is a bioluminescent marker that will tag and bag you. It's one of 3 steps into the devil's chip.
Just say it replaces your DNA. That's easier to understand.
Well, no, it doesn't replace your DNA.
It doesn't replace your DNA. It's like it attaches to it.
Well,
yes, it does. And it will have things like mercury in it, which will go through the brain barrier. But it's just one form. It's the groundwork for all the others to come. But if you want, you can check out my video I did on Wednesday. It's not a very long one, but it's a very informative one.
Yeah, I've watched it, Sam, and you're exactly right. But, you know, who's to say, all right, well, maybe that mercury that's in that shot, maybe that's going to be what 5G attaches to, because mercury is a metal.
Well, that's the final nail, period.
Yeah, and we've got, and I got to tell you this, guys, and I'm not lying. I'm probably going to go to jail in the next couple of days.
Don't open your mouth.
I'm not going to open my mouth, but guess what they put about 100 yards from my house?
New Eagle Tower.
5G.
It's a white box.
Mm-hmm.
Not 100 yards from my house. I'll tell you, when I first saw it, it just, oh God, it flew all over me. But like, I need to start learning calmer minds prevail.
Oh yeah, they will.
And so I'm going to let it sit there for a little while and talk to some people. And I'll see if I can get some answers, whatever the answers might be.
The funny thing about these vaccines, and some of these folks are so willing to just accept without any understanding to the cause and effect of it.
Yeah. Is
you start hearing that you can't travel,
right?
Or you can't work, or you can't, purchase goods. And it's almost like, okay, if you don't do this, we're going to take this away.
Right.
You won't do it? Oh, we'll take this away. It's like a slow process of, just some of the simplest stuff they start taking away. And that's when you're going to have those issues where folks are just going to implode.
Exactly. And that's an excellent way to put it. Go ahead, Sam.
It makes me think everything is getting, escalated up the food chain. But it's coming down on crap for we, the people. The other part of that is, I was, to those in chat and listening, that I was informing the guys before we came live that apparently the Inslet over there in Washington State has decided, in his infinite stupidity, to start blocking off whole streets, whether it's in Seattle and other places. And apparently there's another one going down in Orange County, which under Newsom is no huge surprise. But they're going to be blocking people off and forcing them to either jog, walk, or ride a bike, unless, quote unquote, you have their approval to drive your vehicle in the area. This is, and then, they're going to bring in the tech with the drones, and you're going to have to show ID and all this other stuff. But this is how they slow walk it into communism. Now, my big beef is, as supposed to be a president of the United States, when you watch government officials go rogue, it is your constitutional duty to put your foot on their necks and rein them in. The fact that that's not happening really makes you wonder what's really going on with Mr. Trump's agenda for America.
Okay, while you're taking a breath. All right, we had the same thing happen in Gallup, New Mexico. They sealed off the whole town. They told everybody they were under quarantine. They couldn't leave the town, and nobody could come in. And this was in Gallup, New Mexico. I reported on this last week. but now you hear nothing about it. And now they're doing somewhat the same thing in Washington State, which is not a surprise, or in Orange County, which is not a surprise. They've always been tyrants, so they're just flexing their muscle.
Well, the thing with what's going on in New Mexico is that the indigenous population has to go into that town in order to get their drinking water, washing water, cooking water. And by being prohibited by, again, an illegal group of thugs called the Blue Line, which is cops, they're not being able to have their water needs met. And nobody's saying a damn thing about that. And so, what is Mr. Trump's real agenda for America? I pose that question again.
The American people, they're gonna have to free those botanical governments.
That's it.
That's the truth of that.
It's going to be up to us. What does Trump keep saying?
Like I say, a vaccination can cause us to go into a civil war. All these states that are being taken their rights away can cause us to go into a civil war. Our food shortages can cause us to go into a civil war.
Sure.
Hell, don't let us get hit with a DEW. You know,
Yeah.
that would cause a lot of civil unrest, and I think that's what's going to be the scenario that our government, federal government, is asking for, is the people to take back their state.
That's what Trump said. I'm going to give it back to the states. But when he says the states, he means the people of the states.
Exactly, guys.
Not the governors and the mayors.
And some of these folks in these states, they're just getting hogtied before they realize it. And
well, the other part of that, remember, Mindbender, is that President Trump made an announcement that he was meeting with all the governors of each state. I wonder what was discussed in there, because I don't see any accountability by them for these rogue mayors and governor. Still, I ask you, what is his real agenda? Because if it's for we the people, we've been dumbed down for way too long, and we got too much slothful individuals who wants to suck on the teat of government so they don't have to work. They can play on their mindless machines or games, etc. But those of us who have worked our butts off, those of us who love our country, are drawing lines in the sand. And I assure you, mine is drawn. They have declared by their actions war on we the people.
Amen.
I agree. The people have been declared war on in certain areas of our country.
Yeah.
I realize the federal government actually is probably going to start at the top and work its way down as far as cleaning up some things.
As long as they clean up.
I mean, it's a slow process. You know, you've got to. I'm wanting to see what's coming out when this, 3-star general situation, if some heads are going to start spinning in some higher places. I truly want to see all that.
Well, they need to spin too.
And as far as these scenarios within our botanical government, Tuesday, the federal government did say and reminded the governors that he did have the ability to exercise it. So he did address it this week, Sam.
Yeah, he can take over the states. He can take that power back.
That's not saying that some of these botanical governors and stuff and these different parts of this great country are not acting ridiculous right now. At some point, I'm sorry, this country is just being horrible to fight for what could be our freedom for a long time.
Hey, Steve, don't go nowhere.
Steve?
My phone number's in my bio. Call me. Call me. We'll talk about this. I need to know. He says somebody keeps deleting his comments, and he's in here all the time.
Roger that.
Yeah. Well,
I think too that
it's
the
a big yarn
governors
of
need
ball.
to be reminded that though they have the National Guard, President Trump has the National Guard. They're on loan to the governors. He has the final say on what they do, because one of them, and I can't remember, maybe one of you gentlemen remember, there's a governor that called up the National Guards against its people. Was it Indiana? or was it another state? Yeah, Iowa. I can't remember right now. But I was thinking to myself, that's only on temporary loan. The moment Trump chooses to pull your leash, you're out and they're his.
Pretty much, yes.
I try to let the understanding of his control. He has a much higher IQ than myself.
Yeah, me too.
And that's just me. So I'm not going to think as though he is, of course, because I can't, and he's not going to think like me. And I know at some point in time, you have to let people reveal who they truly are.
Right.
In order to have the fight in your people to do the right thing that will back any situation, as far as even the vaccine. You know, I would like to take one if I knew it was effective. You know, and something that kind of showed me that the president was for the people in that regards, because he truly knows who's behind all this vaccine. Hell, we all know without saying their names.
Right.
He said he was going to oversee it.
Well,
What
maybe
does
some
that
more
mean?
time is going to reveal more of what his administration's true agenda is going on here. Maybe it will give some more clarity. So, because a lot of us patriots who love our country have been on hold for now weeks. And we've been watching the scale keep tipping in a very much less favorable position. So maybe a little bit more time, but I don't think President Trump, if his intent is good, has a lot more time left before the people actually have really had full enough. And you just don't know because of the tinderbox when what one whack job, that one angry person who has no more patience is going to go out and do something so heinous that we end up all enforced total martial law.
Amen. So let me ask you this:
Some
while we're
things
on
are
Trump,
inedible.
let me ask you this, and then we'll get on to other topics.
Okay. How do you
But
see it?
is Donald Trump and the Fed conspiring to destroy the U.S. banking system? I mean, I really have to ask that question. Now, think about it. Maybe it's not Trump. Maybe his hand's being pushed by Congress. I don't know. But Trump and the Feds have pumped a staggering, get this, people, $6 trillion into the banking system since March. $6 trillion. Remember when Obama was president and he had run the deficit up $2 trillion? They were screaming and hollering, good God, he's done more than the last 10 presidents. Well, now look what Trump's got. $6 trillion into the banking system since March. $6 trillion in less than 90 days. People, that's absolutely obscene. I mean, no matter how you dice it. Trump is either really confused or misled. I had written down here a fool, but I'm not going to say
Trying
that.
to run down the Federal Reserve.
Or maybe he's simply showing his true self to the world. Either way, Trump has lost a lot of supporters because of his compromising attitude and lack of empathy toward all Americans during this man-made, man-released COVID-19 flu hoax. And that's the simple fact of it. And yes, there is a health crisis in America, but this virus isn't the problem. The problem is that everyone who is anyone is lying and deceiving America at the every turn. Chances are that this hoax pandemic will be with us until the government decides enough people have been culled from the population. Their agenda is for the people to die, but we're not dying quick enough. So they're going to have to come up with another scenario to take us out quicker. And I'm going to tell you what, they want I believe it in my heart that they wanted to reduce our population to a manageable number. And it's all going to be the New World Order. And it's been going on forever. And they're getting there. Trump's fighting a hard battle, but he's not making much headway.
Well, Bobby, what's also going on, I don't know if you heard, but apparently there's another 2.2 trillion being discussed, in Congress right now.
Yep.
And that when you all is said and done, you're talking over $9 trillion. Someone, and it isn't going to be us, it's going to be our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren.
Amen. I wanted to say, Sam, that was Obama's when he had that 2 trillion, everybody was saying, "Oh, look what you're doing to our children and our grandchildren and our great grandchildren." That was a drop in the bucket compared to what's going into the coffers now. I mean, it'll be 20 generations before we ever see, get out of the red.
Unless there's a jubilee.
Well, then there could be a jubilee.
Well, NASA.
Go ahead now. You mentioned jubilee. Go and tell everybody what you're talking about.
I mean, debt forgiveness. Ending of the Federal Reserve and coming under the gold standard, basically, and having a whole new situation put upon us. We got a smart president, guys.
Sure he is.
I look at it every day as far as, it's a poker hand. Some hands you're going to lose. Some hands you're not going to lose. Some hands you're just going to bluff and get away with it. And sometimes you're not. And sometimes you're just going to get that jackpot.
Yeah.
I truly see that, man, we're in a twound up ball. It's a big ball. And some days I like the president and some days I don't.
Yeah.
I can't complain, and I think most of us Americans are that way. Yeah. So
Mindbender, let me see. How long do you sense that Trump may have for this arrest, for this jubilee? How much long do you think that the average American citizen is going to give him in weeks or months before the crap hits the fan?
Some things have already hit the fan.
No, you know what I mean.
Well, I'm going to look at it this way. I don't think Trump wants that kind of situation.
Yeah, I don't either.
But yet, too, I know with General Flynn being exonerated, that's a very big start, because now there's a lot of corruption that the proof is already there. To me, I want to start seeing some of those things happen. Now, as far as some of the pedophiliac, the child abductions and all that trafficking stuff, some of that's actually been addressed, and you may not even be aware of.
Sam. I am.
They have been, yes. They have been doing a lot of stings and stuff, yeah.
Even to the point that some of those pretty high, powerful people are on what appears to be some form of a box attached to their leg.
I've seen those pictures.
You have seen them? And there's some things that are rumbling a little bit, I feel. And I think that some things are going to start coming to where Trump can build these American people to saying, hey, I am truly for you. At least I'm going to look into the hope of that.
Right.
At this point, I have no choice.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he's not going to tell the world everything that's going on. That's just impossible.
Yeah.
It's illegal as well. You have to be mindful on how you educate your children.
HFB, American Armed Patriot, and Liberty Smith, and Linda. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I have to give y'all guys a shout out because y'all put up with us for this. Armed American Patriot, good guys. Scarecrow, D.A. Archer. Glad to see all y'all in here. Linda Horner and Miss Mary. Yeah, guys, I'll tell you, you got some really good information, on that. But we need to stay focused on that. We can't just let it put it on the back burner. We have to remember to check this stuff out all the time because this stuff changes daily. You never know. Backdoor deals, behind closed door deals, you never know.
Well, heads on a swivel, because when it continues to happen, it's going to happen fast and furious is what I think, whether positive or not so positive. But be prepared, folks. And please, I hope most of you minimally have got your garden started, because that's going to be necessary, even with some easing from the manufacturers of the meat and all of that. You're still going to need some garden stuff as time goes on.
All right, come on, Bender. Bring us up to date on the garden.
I was fixing to say, did anybody listen to the vice president today? He was in Iowa.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious. Did any of y'all listen to the vice president? He was in Iowa today.
I didn't catch him.
And the White House on YouTube is awesome. It's super. You know, you're going to hear straight from the horse's mouth. You don't have to hear any reporting or anything.
Right.
They were explaining our food as a, you know, our food chain, and there seems to be a kink in it. Um, and the kink is getting straightened out. But understand, if there's a kink in something, there's going to be a period of time where you may want to put a little bit back for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Um, just because so many different aspects of this has hit our country in economics and sicknesses and even other countries making some political moves to try to hurt our food, which in turn hurts every single person.
Right.
And those things, some of them cannot be controlled by our system of government because those things have been sold and other countries are making the decisions for you. So
Yeah.
they were actually addressing that chain of how things were broken in that aspect. And hopefully we won't see a repercussion for too long of a period in time. But you always have to have three things in this world, guys, to be human, and that's oxygen, water, and food.
Yeah.
Are you aware, Mindbender, that last week, Monday of last week, not this week, that we got a huge shipment of beef from Namibia at the same time our government was telling our cattlemen to slaughter their beef? Are you aware that that Namibian beef went up to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to be distributed unbeknownst to New Englanders? Are you aware of that?
I wasn't aware of where it was distributed. I was aware of watching the uh, video of the farmer who brought that to our attention. He was out in the field, that it was an imported product. I wasn't aware of where it was distributed. To me, it could have been meant for dog food. I didn't know what it was meant for. Um, I like I say, I do see, like I say, a situation where it's probably not a good time to put your faith in government for your food supply.
Amen. That's why I wanted you to mention.
I hate to say it that politically correct to everybody listening, but we're not. I don't want to freak. No, you know, I don't know how to say it, but going back 70 years in our society, people provided a lot of their own food needs. Okay,
Sure.
and if you've got to go back to that, you just have to go back to it, and not be so whiny, tiny participation. I can't go to my grocery store no more. Well, that's okay. That doesn't mean it's the end of the world because there's other things of justice that are being put in place to where that situation doesn't occur again in time. But for a period of life, you may have to go back 70 years and not put your faith in man, aka government, because we have put our trust in government for too long on a food supply that was admitted today that there's a broken chain in there.
Sure there is.
So
sure there is. So while you're at it, Mindbender, a lot of people in here talking about their gardens. Go ahead and tell us what you got growing.
I've always enjoyed, you know, gardening somewhat in containers. I like container gardening, 5-gallon buckets, 7, 8, 12-gallon pots. This year I did, increase a little bit more to do some canning, dry canning. You know, you can dry can goods, crackers, rices, grits, any dry product, and it's a very simple process. But I went ahead and extended my garden to black-eyed peas and squash and okra and zucchinis and bell peppers, banana peppers, potatoes to, try to start a sustainable source of food.
Sure.
I've been anorexia one time. I'm not being anorexia. I can't do it again. I beat it once.
I hear you, brother.
It's
good. I wanted you to tell people what you got growing because, I mean, even though you're doing container growing, you got a lot of containers.
Yeah, I mean, and it's going to increase. Also, I started a series on American Mindbender, 100-box challenge, you know, where I've got these
Armed American Patriot. It's a herb.
where, I'm taking canned goods now, and call me a hoarder or whatever, and I'm putting them in a box and I'm numbering it, and just encouraging folks that you might want to try to store up for a rainier day, because the system has a broken chain in it in our food supply. That was
And they
addressed
admitted it today.
Yeah, that was addressed today.
Yeah.
And
so it's going to affect each and every one of us at some point.
I mean, sure, you might find chicken or beef or, different meat products in your store, but you're going to pay an astronomical price for it.
Especially if it's American beef or chicken or pork.
For sure.
Well, at least with the chicken and the pork, they can, raise them fairly quickly. Beef is another whole matter. And, at least with the gardens, you could use your closets, get some of those lights to grow in there if you need to. So, your tomato plants don't need pollination because they pollinate themselves. Just wiggle the branches. Just learn enough. But don't forget the greens, because the greens are so rich in nutrients that we need even more than tomatoes. So please keep that in mind as you're growing, that green, even though you may not like it a while ago, might be exactly what your body's going to need to keep you healthy.
I'm doing indoor lettuce. I forgot to mention that. I've got like 5 containers of indoor lettuce. And I'm actually doing a day by day grow, so I'm taking pictures, and each day they're getting bigger. I'll reveal that, I guess, in 5 so weeks when I harvest.
All right, cool.
There's a lot of simple things that you can sustain some form of food source to, go along with your rainy day food products that you've put back. But also, Sam, also something I can address that I've learned to understand the economics of in our food situation. A lot of our small farmers had contracts with a lot of cheese and dairy producers and things of that nature. A lot of our small farmers have contracts already with these packing companies, and what some of the things we were seeing with the dumping of milk and euthanizing of pigs and cows and stuff.
Right.
The larger corporations didn't have those packing facilities running for the little intricate butters or the little intricate, sausages that went for breakfasts at hotels or schools and different things like that. So their product wasn't being processed like the small farmer was set up with just maybe the cheese. The small farmer might have been set up for just a cottage cheese and all these little intricate things that were more profitable to the bigger farming organizations had no place to take their products. So you were seeing it spoilage. You were seeing it dumped. You were seeing it euthanized because the smaller farmers actually had the contracts with those packing companies, and the big man was getting screwed on that situation.
Well, there's 2 little things on that. One, I'm a strong supporter of supporting your local farmers. I really do. I think that our little farmers, call them up, see if they need some help planting, see if they need some help weeding, whatever it is you can do to help them at this time. But that being said, I also want to call attention to something else, and it seems to be overlooked by a lot of people. They have been on a fast track while everybody's sequestered for 5G. Birds, butterflies, bees, all have taken a major hit anywhere 5G is. That's killing a lot of your pollinators. So keep that in mind, people, about your pollinating, maybe getting, if you can, a little hive going, not necessarily for honey unless you build up to that, but protect your bee supplies if you're capable. I know some people are in apartments and they can't. I'm not insensitive to that. But those who have a little extra room, maybe you want to talk to somebody in your area who sells bees and start a tiny little hive to start keeping the bee supplies healthy and for your own well-being and your own crops, big or small.
Right. Are you packing tobacco or what?
Not me.
I'm flipping my lighter in a circle.
Yeah, but you're really loud. I mean, you're louder than Sam talking, to be honest with you. Flipping your lighter.
I was flipping my lighter around.
Yeah, I know, and
Sorry.
I'm just saying it was rather
I
loud.
can hear her.
Huh.
She was encouraging folks to try to start their bee situation.
Yeah, and yeah, y'all go ahead. I'm allergic to bees, so I'm not getting involved with that.
Well, butterflies and moths, flies, ladybugs, all them are pollinators too. So aren't bats. People forget about these littler, less poisonous insects that can still keep a healthy population of your plants going. So if
Oh
you're
yeah,
allergic
oh
to
yeah.
bees, consider something else if you can, Bobby.
Oh well, I have butterfly trees and hummingbird bushes and stuff like that. So
There you go. There
you know,
you
I've
go.
got rhododendrons. I've got 27 rose bushes. You know, I've got plenty of bees and stuff around. I just stay away from them.
I
But I
will
want
be
to.
I will be making videos on how to self pollinate, like your squash plants, how to self pollinate your
That would be interesting.
zucchinis, and of course the tomatoes she had mentioned, and cucumbers. You can self pollinate. Corn you can self pollinate. There's quite a lot of things. We weren't left behind on the design of this great earth, how to survive
Yeah,
without man trying to ruin us. But to understand the beginning of what she said, 5G is the final nail in the coffin.
yes,
Period. You know, they're starting to kind of ease in this contact tracing,
yep,
Yep.
and a lot of folks. I mean, all of this is the 5G. Period. Okay,
yeah,
and on understanding, you probably need to take your smartphones, guys, when you're traveling, and leave them at your home, and get you a flip phone and travel with it for communication, for
yep,
contacts.
yep,
Uh, um, that would be a lot smarter and confuse what is perhaps your enemy. Is your enemy the government or not? We don't know. That's here to be seen later.
right,
But the contact tracing is being slipped in so slowly that when
Yep.
you buy a brand new phone, guess what's connected on it? And you can't disconnect it. Bluetooth.
yeah,
Bluetooth will be automatically connected on your phone. So anywhere in any other phone that you're in contact with and something breaks bad, my Apple tested positive for the coronavirus. You will be contacted that my Apple tested positive for the coronavirus.
right,
They are slipping in the contact tracing through their 5G capabilities, and not only that, apps will
Yep.
automatically be uploaded into your phone without your consent, or maybe not even knowing, that
yep,
take your temperature and heart rate and movement, and just, we can't allow 5G. And for some reason that's kind of went to the forefront. It's went to the back of the line, and
no,
that has to be that can't take place. Obviously, our president was smart. Now, I will say this: he did sign a bill. It's called 5G and Beyond. You can look it up on Congress.gov. That actually bought us a year and a half's time. Once again, like the vaccine, he said, "Okay, you make the vaccine, guys. I'll oversee it." With the 5G, he said, "Okay, build the system. Bring to me your testing results, what's going
yep,
on." Because after all, 3 years ago, they were in front of Congress and said they spent $0 on the effects of 5G. That came out of
Well,
Telcom's mouth. So he's going to say, build your system. And he bought us a year and a half, which is enough time to decide whether if they wasted their money or not.
yeah, they
well,
probably
there's
did.
another thing too with this mind bender. If
Mm-hmm.
you choose, everybody, if you choose to take your phone with you, I choose not to. But if you choose, you can always wrap it in aluminum foil. It's like a Faraday cage. And
Yeah,
only take it out if you need an emergency call, but you'll have it with you for the sense of security it might provide. Now, if you don't mind, gentlemen, I'd like to dovetail on to something that was just in chat, which is very important.
go right
We're
ahead.
all hearing about these killer hornets. Now, let me tell you something. For one thing, if they are in America, they were brought to America. They didn't fly oceans to get here. That's another thing. Now, the mythology has blown up around them. We have no basis for that mythology until we know facts. So be very mindful about what you're paying attention to, and know that they didn't fly oceans to get here, that there was a trader or traders that may have released them. But at this point, we don't have any real factual proof that they're even here. So be careful of the hyperbole and the
Yeah.
mythology, because we can't factually prove any of it.
I've actually read something that in 2013, the Myrna Hornet has arrived in the United States.
Yeah, they said back in
We've been-
2013 it had arrived.
We've been living in those murder hornets for a while.
And but they now they're in Washington, you know, the blue state. You know, so now it's got to be you know, it's going to hurt all them people.
It's
They're
just
scared.
it's a play on words. Yeah, that's all that is.
Yeah.
The murder hornets have been around since 2013.
Yeah, and now they say that praying mantis eat them or something. Some kind of moth eats them. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's in Washington State, so that's about
I think
3,200 miles from me, so they can have whatever they want.
Yeah, you know, sometimes the moral of the story is don't let your mind get bent so hard. You know, a lot of things have been here that may have not been brought to the surface or your attention, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's a big situation. No, it's been going on. Don't be scared.
We can't live our life in fear, whether
No.
it's mosquitoes bringing viruses and this
Right.
and that. America, our forefathers would be rip-livid pissed, excuse my mouth, if they knew that the America today are cowering in their homes when they lost life, limb, and property to give us this country. I don't agree with cowardice.
Amen. Amen.
And our cowardness is being challenged very, very much here, especially in some of these botanical states we got going on with all this bullshit they trying to rule these people by.
Yeah, but like
our
Liberty
cowardness
says,
is being tested.
yeah, and I'm afraid that there's going to be a whole lot more who go with the quid pro quo and don't stand for the right. They're going to take whatever freebies they offer and be happy.
Oh, they're gonna say, "Oh hell, just give me a shot so I can go to work tomorrow."
There you go. Or give me a shot so I can lay down and watch some more MTV or something.
Anything.
Yeah. It's crazy. But that's what we got going on in this world, you know, is a lot of craziness right now. And we need to know that, you know, that we are in perilous times. Something's going to happen, Mindbender, on the other side of this COVID thing. You know, they're talking about now $2,000 for everybody for 6 months, $1,000 a month, whatever it is they do. You know, whatever the thing they kept come up with to pacify the people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, they'll pacify me too. I'll spend every penny they send me. But they're not getting my vote. You know, they're not really pacifying me because I'm doing nothing different with their money than I would do without their money, except I am buying a couple of things extra. You know, that I need, like tires. You know, I had to buy tires with my money. I didn't get to go blow it on a new gun or something. You know.
Well, you know, Bobby, the truth of the matter is it's the people's money. It was never government's money to give to anybody. And when you think about the pittance that they're giving to the American people who have car notes to pay, rent to pay, groceries to buy, because they got their kids home 3 times a day and needs extra grocery. So the government doesn't give you anything. That money is already yours. And most of that $6.2 trillion sure as hell didn't go to we the people.
It went to a lot of places, but it didn't go in my pocket.
So enjoy it, Bobby. Every cent you get, honey. Whatever you need to do it, take it. It's yours already.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame I had to take that first one and, like I say, buy tires and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it went pretty quick. But I got things that I had to have that I really couldn't afford. So
to me, I'm trying to understand, what are they going to do to not waste a good pandemic?
Exactly.
That's the big question in the sky, in my opinion, right now. What is going to take place to take advantage of a good pandemic? You know, is it going to be civil? Is it going to be world? Is it going to be starvation? Is it going to be corruption? Is it going to
All of
be
the above.
FEMA camps? I'm curious. There's a lot of decisions that can take place,
Yeah.
but there's not a pandemic that's going to get wasted by no means.
No, and
Are
the thing
you
about it
aware,
is
Mindbender?
go ahead, Sam.
Are you aware, Mindbender? Now, while everybody's cowering in their homes, and I'm not saying everybody is cowering, but initially everybody did, me included, because we weren't sure what the hell was going on. No fault there at all. We were taking care of our elderly and we were taking care of ourselves. Now that we know better, what they don't know is a lot of people. Did you know that when Trump signed his signature to that $6.2 trillion, that a part inside of it was that now cops, police, the armed thugs, the politicians around our country got the permission from Congress with that swift of his pen to harass Americans in vehicles without probable cause now. They could pull you over at a whim.
Sure, with no probable cause.
I'm not shocked. I got pulled over one time for doing the speed limit.
Invader Zim, I would recommend that you contact the look in the phone book under the Jewish Council or a local synagogue and talk to someone there, and they can just don't let them talk you into giving it to them, and they'll send it. But yeah, call your local synagogue and talk to someone there. They'll help you out with that.
One thing about those scenarios with the police force is it is truly so different in so many different parts of our country.
Yes.
West Coast cops don't act like cops in small towns like mine.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
New York cops don't act like cops down small towns like mine. Some of the cop situations I can't absorb because it doesn't happen in my face or I don't witness it, but I do get to see it through media, aka true YouTube people. That's where I get my news from. If you cut a story, I believe you live before I would some other broadcast.
Amen.
With an agenda. But
Amen.
That's here nor there. So I do like to see the sources of videos, and I'm very good at obtaining those before it gets spun out of control, like this recent situation with a guy getting shot in South Georgia 2 months ago. But
Yeah.
that's here nor there. They have truly gone out of control in some parts of our country, and it may take the citizens of that area to put them back in gear. We do outnumber them.
That's right.
Every day,
all day long.
So
I remind them all the time.
I don't know if this country can grab a hold of their backbone and rip it straight up again, but we may need to get another backbone in our American people. It is a little bit jelly right now, I agree.
Well, I think, some of it may be that the food supply shortage will stun a lot of them because they won't be able to have their chips and, Slim Jims and soda. But that being said, I think that when the prices start going up to the roof, not just for food stuff, but tech and all of that, all of a sudden the younger are going to start shaking their hand and said, wait a minute. So I think it's that too. It's an incremental climb into people's really shaking them out of their sloth behavior, thinking, and not all of them are. But, I found very amazing. Not one government official has been laid off. Not one government employee. They're collecting full benefits. They're collecting full paychecks. We, the people, aren't, though, a lot of them. And they have families
the rich
to feed,
are going to get
too.
richer.
Amen.
Yeah, that's just going to be part of life. The rich are going to get richer.
Yeah, and they're going to take care of their own.
I want less government. Thank you very much. Just like he did when he ran.
That's what we all want.
I like it. But we are encouraging it more and more and more by not standing up.
Yeah, exactly right.
We are encouraging it more and more by not standing up.
I'll tell you guys, we've done really great this hour. You guys have kept it going, but there's one thing I did want to bring up about Illinois. I can't believe this.
Wow.
And everybody that knows me knows that I am pro child in every aspect, no matter if it's abortion or child exploitation or child trafficking. But what's getting me is convicted child sex offenders are among 4.5 thousand prisoners released into the state of Illinois this week. 4,500. Released inmates in Illinois consist of convicted sex crimes against children, drug traffickers, rape, assault, and murder-related charges. Now, they're letting these people out of the jails, but you go break social distancing during this hoax, whatever it is, and you're going to go to jail. So they got to get rid of those guys in jail so they have a room to put you in jail when they arrest you.
They're testing the backbone.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
They are going to keep testing our backbone. There is no doubt about it. Like I said,
and they're going to push one day until they push too far.
Yeah, until we say, "Oh, we got our backbone."
That's right.
Well, that just happened in Massachusetts too a few days back, Bobby. That Massachusetts let out several hundred, including child rapists, regular rapists, murderers. And what's going on with a lot of that, at least I know from Massachusetts and also in California, I can't say which case you are, but I suspect it's the same because they have the same script, is that if these people are arrested for minor offenses, what happens is that the judges are saying that those are the minor offenses that they're laying out to make people think that they're minor. But what they're not doing is looking back and seeing what their past history was that before that quote unquote supposed minor infraction. So It is just another color. You know, I watched again today President Reagan, and he said it right. He said it true, and it bears repeating today. The 9 words I fear the most is I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. Quote unquote.
Well, I think this day and time, one of the most cruciating things I hear is I'm a citizen and the second richest person in the world, and I can improve your life.
There you go.
I don't understand how a citizen can, have so much political and influence on the world. That can be stopped. It needs to.
Colleen O'Sullivan, you're right. Cuomo did start this all, and he was the first one to release prisoners out of New York. I reported on that. You're right.
Well, everybody kind of knows about Cuomo.
Hey, Teresa. All right, guys, we've done really good with y'all. Y'all done a great job tonight. I want to give both of you an opportunity to say your final words before we get out of here and let these people get back to their evening. I want to thank them all for coming. Thank you so much, Krabby, Colleen, Scarecrow, Liberty Smith, Jeff B., Teresa. Thank you for being here. Linda Horner, 12B Georgia, Colleen O'Sullivan, Linda Carter, JKR Scratch. I know who that is. Let's see. There was some other Scratch family in here. Yeah, Scratching BO on the go.
Bo.
Yeah, Bo's in here. Yeah.
Say hello to Bo. Y'all pick Bo up for me.
All right, I hear you. All right, man. Thank y'all guys for being in here. I really appreciate it.
I'd like to say one thing, Bob.
You've got the mic, both of you. You go first, Sam, and then Mindbender, you go, and we'll get out of here. Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. First and foremost, thank you, Bobby. Great to meet you, Mindbender, and thank you, everybody in chat. Much love and respect and appreciation. But I can't remember the exact president who said it. Bobby, you may, or you Minder, Ben Minder, you may remember. But this is also very true. Anyone who will give up a little bit of security, a little bit of freedom for a little bit of security, deserve neither security nor freedom. Amen.
Amen. Yeah, you're right. I don't know who said that, but that's words to live by. You can't take our freedoms and expect us to like it.
My turn to finish out here.
Go right ahead, Mindbender.
I've got some great final thoughts, guys.
Sure.
Put yourself in a situation of not knowing what tomorrow brings, because we truly don't know what tomorrow brings. But I will put this in your ear. We do know that 5G will compromise our lifestyles. We do know 5G
Yes.
will control us.
Yep.
We realize that an agenda is upon us, good versus evil.
Yes.
And of course, us being good folks, we don't want to cause any harm to anyone.
Right.
But if you're going to be pushed to that situation because that may be what the other agenda would like, you just might have to do what you got to do in this day and time and get a backbone.
Be prepared and be prepared to use it.
You may have to get a backbone.
Yep. It's not going to be a free ride forever.
Nope. Those days are gone.
Free rides are coming to an end, my friends. Not the free rides for those who ride the free line. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those days are
I'm talking about freedom.
We got to fight for it now.
And we're to the point to where we're going to have to fight or lose it.
And it's going to be pushed upon us, I feel.
And there's nothing that.
Bobby,
Yes.
do you mind if I close this out in a very short prayer?
Oh, I would love that. Mindbender, are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Go ahead, Sam.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you on humble knees and open hearts and mind. Guide us straight and true to what it is you choose for us individually and collectively to do to further your cause as spiritual warriors for you. And we ask that through that blessed name, Jesus Christ, through his holy sacred blood, that you throw his blood, his cloak of safety and protection on us, those in chat, our families, those in near and dear to our hearts, even those who have passed. Keep us straight and true, guide us words and deeds. And through his holy protection, through Jesus the Christ, you say, when two or more are gathered in his name, there I am. We welcome you with open hearts and mind. Guide us true and straight, and may we listen to you in the holy sacred name of sweet Jesus the Christ. I pray. Amen.
So be it. And amen. Thank you for that, Sam. That was excellent. I was actually thinking about closing out with a prayer myself, so you must have been reading my mind. So thank you for that, Sam. That was very good. I really appreciate you doing that. Anyone who's not afraid to call the name of Christ publicly, I'm all for them. So thank you, American Mindbender, for coming in tonight. Now,
My pleasure.
some people met you face to face, so to speak.
Right.
And I enjoyed having you here, and I'm sure they did too. And we'll have you on again if you'll come.
I sure will. Just let me know,
Sam,
sir.
remember this, on Wednesday nights, Sam is going to be joining me on Wednesday nights with Fight and Defend, hopefully every Wednesday. And then Charity is going to be joining us on Friday night to give you all a little different perspective other than just two old men talking. We'll have a lady in there, to bring up the other side of everything. So it's going to be a good time with Sam and with Charity. Charity was going to be here tonight, but she was in a big storm and she lost her internet and Wi-Fi, so she couldn't come. So pray for her children, pray for everybody in the chat, pray for each other. And we'll see y'all Friday night at 7:30. And American Mindbender and Sam Reports, thank you once again for being here. Hands to you, brother.
All right,
Appreciate
man.
you.
Y'all take care.
We'll talk to y'all later.